Hi there. Today I'm planning on talking about my works in progress, a little bit about why I knit and why it's important to me to share it here on this podcast, and some of my possible future knits that I'm itching to cast on, even though I shouldn't. So let's get started. Hello crafty friends. As you can see, I have changed up my location. I was getting a bit tired of looking at that blank, uninteresting background, to be honest. It's a lovely room downstairs, but it's very manly, and I just needed to bring a bit of interest to, the background of my podcast. Things are starting to getting ahead of myself. Welcome. This is episode 27 of Hanging On by a Thread podcast. My name is Silje and I'm coming to you from the middle of Norway. I'm currently looking at a fjord. We are located in Trøndelag, so that would be the one arm of the Trondheimsfjord. I am snuggling up with a comfy old knit and a cup of warm tea today, because it being the height of summer and the fickleness of weather here in Trøndelag, it is of course overcast, slightly drizzly, and 10 degrees Celsius. I have no idea how much that is in Fahrenheit, so Google it. It's chilly, and as you might have noticed, if you've seen this podcast before, welcome back. Oh, hello! Hi, welcome back to the podcast. And if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out. Hopefully this will be a good one. I have changed my location because I was tired of the, albeit a very lovely color of blue. It was a bit blank, and I wasn't going to start hanging up a bunch of Crafty inspired lovely backdrop thing in my partner's music studio. that space is reserved for, Billie Holiday and the likes of those amazing legends of music. But so yeah, I've moved upstairs to the living room. Hopefully I will be able to record without many interruptions. It's a quiet day. Normality has somewhat returned after the summer holidays. And so, as usual, the baby is sleeping downstairs in his wagon already for half an hour now. So took me a while to set up and, try to spruce up this little corner, find the right angle. Yeah, hopefully this will work out nicely. I have, remembered to turn on the sound. Where was I? Yeah, hope you like my new setup. I'll try, I think I like it, so I might be recording here for a few more sessions if possible, until I get my guest room / craft room sorted downstairs, which might be a while, because, things. First things first, what am I wearing today? This is an old knit that I tend to throw on, like I mentioned before with my the Morganette cardigan. This is another one that I've had for so long now, and I just throw it on because it's one of these boxy, works on everything. I'm not precious about it anymore because it is a bit of a wonky knit. It's not perfect, but it's nice. So this is the Quadrillion jumper. which was published in the same magazine as the Morganite cardigan actually. So Pom Pom magazine, autumn 2013. Starting to be a bit, getting on a bit as far as knits is concerned. But I knit this one up in sports weight. Manos del Uruguay? No, it is not Manos. Let me check my Ravelry, because this is why I have Ravelry, so I remember what I knit with. So the Quadrillion is by Mehgan Fernandes, and actually it doesn't have many projects listed in Ravelry. Only 90, which I think is far too little for this lovely cardigan. Okay, go back to my version, is knit out of Malabrigo yarn. There's Malabrigo yarn Arroyo. So it's the one that is, it's similar to the Rios, but a river and then a stream, you know. Rios. Arroyo is just as kind of a smaller stream. So it is the sport weight. It's a merino, round and lovely to knit with. It is a bit busy for a cable knit, I think, and this is before I learned that hand-dyed yarns should be alternated skeins, or it probably said that I should and I just didn't. This is knit flat, and this is where I also discovered that I do not particularly like moss stitch, because the front section was lovely and fun to knit because it's got all these cables, different cables. There was a different chart for each column, lots of stuff to pay attention to and lots of mistakes made, but you can't hardly notice them because of, yeah, there's so much of it. But yeah, the whole backside is just moss stitch, moss stitch, moss stitch, and I was going crazy. So even though this is a lovely sweater and I would love to have another version well made, I'm not gonna knit it again. I say that now. It's always like this, you pull something out and say, I'm never gonna do that again, and then you're like, but it's quite nice, maybe I'll make another one. But don't worry friends, I will probably not cast this on again because there's so many other things to catch my eye, and I'll be off with that the next adventure. But yeah, not so much more to say. It's in this one, Pom Pom 2013. So a while back now. You can buy the pattern for this, of course, separate now on Ravelry and probably other places if you're not using Ravelry. Yeah. Next up is a short break because the baby's calling. I'm back. So yeah, there is a lot going on in that little body right now. He's about 10 months old and not sleeping very well at the moment. What am I saying? He sleeps well, it's just interrupted. So growing pains or something. But I was just going to start talking about my current whips. As I mentioned last episode, I have actually been knitting quite a lot, but the biggest thing I am knitting on, I can't show yet. So I've nearly knit the entire, I've done the body of like a really oversized mid-thigh length, like covering my butt length kind of cardigan, and it's yeah, I've just started on the yoke section of that. So massive amounts of knitting going on there that I can show. But being in need of something a tad more portable to knit as well, and I'm not much of a sock knitter, I dutifully picked back up the Timothy pullover, which I'm knitting for my 5-year-old son. If you want to see the progress on, well, if you want to skip back, I talked about it last in episode 16, I believe. So the Timothy pullover is a pattern. Yep. In this booklet of Rauma Garn. It is Finull Barn 311. So from 2019. I think it says up in there. You can see that. And Timothy pullover is this lovely little raglan with a button opening there and stripy sleeves. So the boy, I say, Emil is his name. The boy, he has chosen his own colors and he went for a 3-color option. This lovely here. And the day before yesterday, this was a Saturday. It's now Monday. Yep, I cast on and got about this much done on Saturday, about this much, not much at all. And then Sunday things quieted down and I managed to finish a sleeve. So it is knitting around but in pieces. And I'm going to be seaming the raglan sleeve onto the body. I've just cast on for the second sleeve, which I'm going to do in the same colors but inverted. Because it's a kid sweater, so let's be a bit eclectic. And he's going to be pretending these are like powerful robot arms anyways. So I've fitted it onto the boy. It seems to be the right length and everything. And it seems also to be matching the opening of the body. So it's going to be a little hard to show, but I think it's going to be a fun combo. So the sleeves are going to be these bright ones here. And I'm thinking I'm just going to go with grey for the neckline and the button band here. But then if I can find it, I will do green and blue buttons on the button bands to pick those colors back up. This texture panel was really lovely to knit as well. I enjoyed that. And just plain stockinette around there. And now just super simple stockinette sleeve with some stripes. If I get to knit on this, I'll probably be finished with the second sleeve by tomorrow, she said. And yeah, shouldn't be too far off finishing this small net. I needed to pick this up and do something because I had completed one of the front panels on the test net and I just couldn't do more of the same for another day and then eventually not having anything to show for it when I was going to record this today. So I was feeling a little bit like, oh, I've got nothing to talk about, which is never the case. You always have something to talk about, but there you go. Sleeves, body, new sleeve cast on. It is knit in, the pattern's by Rauma. It's written to be knit in Rauma Finull, but I am knitting it in Sandnes Garn Sisu, which is a fingering weight, super washable, and I do not know where the wool comes from. I do not know if it's sourced in Norway or in South America usually, or in Australia. who knows, but it's just regular, it's not merino, it's just regular white sheep, I think, so it might be Norwegian wool. Yeah, I'm actually really enjoying knitting with this. So I can imagine using it for more projects for the kids, at least. I think in previous episode I did talk a bit about me just destroying non-superwash garments for kids because I can't be bothered to gently wash them, because the kids are not gentle with their knits. I have a few exceptions, which might be like a little kofta or a cardigan that is just worn on the outside a little bit, but sweaters and like pullovers, they need to be more sturdy. And he destroys trousers particularly. But he's excited about this sweater, and I am as well now that it's coming along a little bit. So I want to knit on this. But that was the Timothy pullover. Seems like I'm not going to be experiencing flow on this podcast recording, as the boy has decided to interrupt me every 10 minutes or so. He might be hungry and tired, so I'm trying to take care of the tired first. Let's see how it goes. This is what's tiring about trying to work a schedule around other people and babies. I can't record this afternoon because then the house will be full of people again and I'd have to move downstairs, which now I'm really enjoying sitting here. Okay, focus, Silja. Get this done. Well, this is a good moment to talk a little bit about the why I knit, because it has a lot to do with stressful everyday things. I mean, I named this podcast Hanging On by a Thread because that's how I feel about it sometimes, most days. Not most days, well. I do it because it brings me a lot of joy to knit, and I love getting inspired and seeing beautiful patterns and seeing the beautiful things that people create. There is so many skilled and inspiring people out there, and you know, Instagram is overloaded with them, and also all the knitting podcasts that has cropped up over the last 2 years of pandemic. Some have fallen by the wayside and zoned out, which I can completely understand as well. And the reason why I knit and why I want to do this podcast is because joy is better shared, isn't it? I want to increase my joy of doing it and my motivation for casting on another thing, and to perhaps even get to join in on the conversation in the knitting community, which I have seen other people praising that it has helped them so much and brought them a lot of happiness. And basically that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to join in on that and get my piece of the action, so to speak. Because life can be a very lonely business. And if you're like me and you grab a ball of yarn out of a bit of desperation sometimes to just feel connected, to the moment, to something tactile and enjoyable, then, you know, welcome. I know how you're feeling. And it is that I'm not a huge stockinette fan. I do pick up a stockinette, obviously, like everyone does. But I don't like that sort of meditation. I like that sort of meditation you get from having to focus and concentrate on a tricky colorwork chart or a fancy cable or lace work, that focus that takes your mind away from the other things that might be troubling you. And then, of course, a little bit of a dip into the stockinette as well can be soothing. It tends to just be sleep-inducing for me, and after 10 minutes or so with stockinette, my eyes go crossing and I'm like, oh, I need to do something else. Because sleep is not an option these days. And this year I've been trying to focus more on taking care of myself and my mental health, I guess. And trying to stop up, think and find the good things in life and in everyday things. And knitting is definitely a big part of that. Although when you feel your mood dipping into that hopelessness again, and then even knitting becomes difficult. But at least then I know if I keep on knitting, or maybe I switch up the colors or something, I will eventually find that mojo again. So maybe I will sometimes connect or disconnect from, for example, Instagram. But I will keep on knitting, even if I'm offline. And because sometimes, even though Instagram can be very inspiring and things, when your mind is not positive, I'm not a huge fan. Well, I am not a chipper, cheerful, everything's going to be great sort of person. I am hopefully more realistic than pessimistic, but have you ever had that feeling that when you're scrolling through your curated Instagram feed and seeing all the beautiful things that people post, even if you know they're only posting the good bits, you still feel like, oh, wow, they managed to do all this and take beautiful Instagram photos. Why can't I? So, to sum it up, I knit because I love it. It gives me a sense of increased skill every time I do something new. It brings me a sense of accomplishment when I finish a thing. Usually I can feel like I failed at something and be very angry with it for a long time. But it's not really a failure but it's not really a failure if I manage to learn something from it. Or, yeah, let's see. And in that spirit, I have this guy behind me here, which is, remember, I finished the Skye pullover and this is not fixed yet. I have tried it on again. It is still massive. I'm swimming in it. I am totally swimming in it. It is huge. But I'm gonna try one thing before possible unravel. So neckline is too wide because it's turned out to be a massively oversized cardigan pullover. And I'm pretty sure if I have the balls to check my stitch gauge, it's completely off. So I got another ball of the duck egg. Is it a duck egg? Yes. Anyway, I got another ball of the Rowan Felted Tweed blue that I used for this, and I'm gonna unpick the neckline and knit a bit more, take it in a bit more and finish it off in blue, because I did not like how it looked with the rust at the end there. I wanted to go a bit more up here. Yeah. And then I will wash it and see how it fits. Worst case scenario, it will definitely fit my partner, and I don't think it is something he would want to wear. Or maybe it would. I mean, it is blue. It's not a particularly girly colorway. But that's the status of the Skye pullover. No wonder I ran out of yarn, because it is huge. It is a men's large in the end instead of a women's medium. So that's how it goes. But I'm really trying to not let things like that, failures like that, stay failures. So the idea is to fix it and make the best out of it. Because I did try it. It would be a very cozy oversized sweater if I fix the neckline. And I'll just have to unravel 5 rounds of that rusty red to try and fix that. Yeah, so on to the next thing before the baby starts screaming again. I have, since the last time, I have cast on for my feral vest. And as you can see, I've done the rib, and the first round of one bit of the pattern. And I got as far as I got before I ran out of the yellow color, because of course I had decided on a colorway. That was not in my stash. So I had to order more yarn, poor me, from Jamieson's of Shetland Spindrift. A yarn that is not readily available in any yarn shops in Norway that I know about. So I ordered it off the online store of Jamieson's. And I've got 2 more balls of the yellow ochre colorway and 2 of the autumn. Sadly, this burnt umber color is out of stock, and I do not know when it will be back. I've signed up to be notified and whatever, but it's a bit expensive to buy from the UK at the moment. I mean, it was always expensive to buy from the UK because Norway was never in the European Union to begin with, so there's that. And so import tax things. But I think the Norwegian kroner is like very weak at the moment, so when you buy in pounds it becomes quite expensive. So for a lover of Spindrift, it's a bit tricky. I did find one online store from Sweden that carries Spindrift, and they did have burnt umber in stock. They did not seem to, they didn't have any option for sending anywhere else but Sweden. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I have sent them an email hoping they will ship to Norway. Because, yeah, that should be a problem between the Nordic countries. There is other trade agreements in place. So hopefully I will be able to use the burnt umber and not replace it with the dark camel color from Finull, which is fairly similar, but it does not have that gorgeous heathered effect. So I am knitting up this colorway. Am I holding it the wrong way? The pattern is this way. So I'm knitting up this. And it is the Nighthawk Slipover by Wilma Malcolmson. And I posted a photo on Instagram of this and my cast on for Fair Isle Friday, and I was like, ooh, Wilma Malcolmson commented on it and said she liked my colorway. Very chuffed about that. Yes. So she said I was doing a very nice color blending. Very proud. Yes. How silly. But yeah, this is really pretty. So that's for my enjoyment, and for anybody else who wants to join in the fun. It's the Fair Isle West Cal, and I will try to be a good knit-along hostess. Should I make a podcast group on Ravelry? Is that a thing that we still do? Otherwise, I could probably add like a members area on my blog. Not sure how that would work. But, I mean, I'm just doing these things for fun. I'm not a professional podcaster or anything, so... yeah, maybe I should do a group on Ravelry, set that up so that we can also have it going there. Maybe have some members even. So yes, I am knitting this in a white light colorway. So as you can see, it's a completely different look. It's the Nighthawk Slipover. It is published in the Shetland Adventure Journal, Volume 2. And yep, you can buy it online, and they will send you the knitting patterns also digitally immediately, so you don't have to wait for the booklet, which is lovely. So while I'm on the subject of Fair Isle, I am thinking to join, maybe, most probably, definitely, a cal that is run by Knitting with Cat Hair, and which is a podcast here on YouTube that you should check out. I will link down below. And she is hosting a Marie Wallen knit along, and it's going to run for an entire year. That way, maybe even me, the slow big project completer, can join in on that. Because let's face it, I'm probably gonna knit another Marie Wallen pattern, even if that... But I've had my eye on another pattern from this Shetland. So as you know, I've knitted the Unst cardigan, which is this gorgeousness here. And that took me, 2 years to complete? So hopefully 1 year will be enough for this next one. It is also a cardigan because I can't just choose a small knit, can I? No. But it is the Yell the yellow cardigan, which is like a boxy one with, so it's shorter sleeves. It's got a much simpler pattern. I mean, there was a lot of things going on the Unst that stomped me and made it go into hibernation for long periods of time. Specifically, the shoulders and yeah, because it's a fitted cardigan and it was 11 colors, 13, I don't remember, but it was a lot. And the yell is this lovely boxy fit. Where is it? Yes, designs, 12 designs. It doesn't say which pages. Table of contents, terrible. So let me find, don't sing on the podcast. Let me find, oh, I do love this one as well. I just love the colors here, but I'm not sure if I would actually use a thing like that. And I don't know if a cowl is big enough project for this knit along or anything goes. Because I know if you do a crochet project, that's fine. Here we go. Here's the yell. And it was, I was watching the Gentle Knitter podcast, and she was talking about the version that she had done in this kind of muted, washed out effect colors, which was beautiful. And she had simplified the neckband with just doing seed stitch. And yes, so I think this would be a very wearable Finull cardigan that would suit how I wear clothes probably better than the fitted Unst cardigan. So, and also my current size, it's a bit more like I could go up and down in girth with this boxy style and still get a use out of it instead of the Unst, which is it's busting at the seams at the moment. Yeah, it does have, I love that it has that basic pattern up top, which reminds me of like more like Wolsey style Finull with that all over repeated color work, and then the bands of like, yeah, around. I will see what I have in stash, because I think I can get away with using again Rauma Finull for those main grays, because I do want to have that base color. And then it calls for no more than one ball of 25 gram Shetland wool for each of the other colors, which I should be able to dig out something from in stash. Or maybe it doesn't even need that much. Let's say, yes. See, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 contrast colors, not including those 2 grays. And I have some of these, but I think I will play around and make my own colorway. Because that's part of the fun. And knitting colorway samples are a nice way to break up some of the bigger long-term projects that I have going. So yeah, and since compared to other Marie Wallen designs, this is very easy. It has a 16 stitch pattern repeat for that lower border. And for the neckline, it has a 4 stitch repeat. But I do like the solution of the Gentle Knitter and have that be moss stitch. I'll see what I do. It's the last thing to be done anyway, so if I run out of my colors, then mustache it is. Because I see on the sleeves here, there is a bit of a mustache border, I think. I might be... Yes, so the sleeves... the sleeves are charted out in typical Marie Wallin style. And the main body is charted out a bit like I'm used to from Norwegian knitting magazines, with little charts for each section. Great! So yes, I'm going to be joining in on that one for sure. And hopefully not needing to buy a bunch of yarn for it. Because yeah, I bought the missing balls of ochre. I did also include 12 extra balls. I think you can see it barely, and it's I tried to decorate the background and stacked some in there. I've got this gorgeous green and a lovely blue color that I have no idea what I'm going to do with, but it's going to be gorgeous. I was talking about last time doing a green vest, didn't I? So possibly for that. Okay, friends, this is the end of today, I think. Again, tons of interruptions. I have no idea how long I've recorded. Hopefully it'll be half an hour or so of content for you to enjoy while knitting and drinking tea or coffee or whatever, folding laundry, who knows. Yeah, some information at the very end. I will continue for a while to do this as a bi-weekly podcast. So every second Monday I will record, and then hopefully by the end of Tuesday I will manage to have edited and uploaded the podcast episode. So hope that works well for you. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good time to just click subscribe, the ding thing, like. Awesome. Thank you very much. Feel free to leave a comment below, and if you're joining into the Cal, I would love to know, and I'll be very happy to hear about what you are planning to knit. I will try to get on that, making a group or something and write where to join, because it's nice to share your knitting plans somewhere, and maybe in the comment section on YouTube isn't the ideal place to do that, for making it more of a group thing, conversation, right? So I will check on that. It will probably be a Ravelry group or something on my blog if I can figure that out. And I have no idea whether that would be more user-friendly than Ravelry's chat rooms. I'll have to see. Okay, people. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and I really hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching. Keep on knitting and find your joyful little moments. Bye.